My friend just sent me 2 emails. One was written by him and one was written by AI. We'll be able to tell the difference. And in this video today, I'm going to figure out how I can tell the difference between AI and human without an AI detector. And that way you can really see the limiting factor of automating AI copy in your business. Hint, it's not that good for your profits. Wait, so there's a danger with automating things, getting things done faster and implementing AI copy in your business? Well, duh. Yeah, of course there is. So what I'm about to show you today is quite subtle, but if you're like anything like my past clients, you've probably spent years building up goodwill with your content. So think about it. If you just blindly send some AI copy and you've just copy pasted it without actually looking into it, it's quite generic, it's quite boring. What's gonna happen when everyone else starts using the same style of generic copy? Yep, you're gonna be put in the same bucket as everyone else. I've seen that before. Next, we don't really want that for our business, do we? So that's why in today's video, I wanna show you 3 obvious ways you can spot AI copy from human copy and how you can avoid that for yourself. I'm also gonna show you how you can go stealth mode with AI copy so it actually sounds like you and you don't have to go have your audience throw up in their mouth like you've just had some used car salesman give them some really bad pitch. So who am I and why should you listen to me? Hey, my name is Jules Dant. I'm a freelance list master and email list profit extractor. And I help coaches and course creators build a tribe they don't feel guilty selling to with the power of personality-based email lists and profit extraction. And I'm on a mission to obliterate boring, generic, disgusting AI copy from this planet. Okay, well, maybe that's a little bit ambitious. But you know, you're here with me, so let's get started in this video. All right, so I asked my friend to write this fictitious email with a bit of drama to keep things interesting. So he's bringing 2 girls simultaneously to a dinner that I'm trying to organize, and he's asking for permission, can I bring 2 girls? It's a delicate topic indeed. Here's the first email. Who wrote it, AI or human? And here's the second email. Was it my mate or was it Mr. ChatGPT? All right, so no prizes for who wrote what because it's pretty obvious who wrote the AI copy. But as AI gets better and better, I want to point out 3 obvious flaws that you can point out for yourself. That way you don't want to create your own cookie cutter style emails where you sound like everyone else. So the first big giveaway for me is these big blocky paragraphs. Like, how do people normally write? I would say they're quite short, sharp, fragmented sentences, not long verbose sentences, which look like a book, for instance. Now, the second big giveaway is when there actually is long sentences, ChatGPT seems to really pull it off like a pro. Like the grammar is really advanced here. So it works in both regards, like super long sentences and just waffly, or super long sentences and works like a pro. And the typical person doesn't write long waffly sentences, and the typical person doesn't write long sentences like a pro either. So this is the third part, and that is about flow, like how the sentences go from one to the next to the next. And unless you're feeding ChatGPT data of how you actually write, I'm pretty doubtful it's going to be able to mimic your friend. So you might be wondering, well, Jules, why does flow actually matter? Well, let's say you're on camera and you're recording and you've got this really nice charismatic self. How do you translate that back into email or into ads or whatever sort of written copy you've got? And if your charismatic self is different than the way you write and it sounds a bit generic and canned, that is absolute disconnect for your audience, wouldn't you think? Oh, and also in this email, the obvious giveaway is overly amusing analogies. Like, most people just aren't this funny. Now, I know what you might be wondering, like, Jules, why is this bad? Why can't I just use this generic copy and just get going? Isn't done better than perfect? And look, I totally agree, done is better than perfect. Let me give you a quick example, for instance. As of today, Saturday, 25th of March, I've produced over $15 million in client results. However, I'm not close to being a millionaire and I've made my clients so much money with email and their list. It's time to build my list. So last week I started my list building efforts and I produced my first product, but just like a classic marketer, I haven't actually built the product. I'm just selling it first to validate my idea. It comes to a Friday, I hit the weekend, and then on Monday, I check my emails and I see a Stripe notification. Someone's actually bought my first product. So long story short, I fulfill it, it's great, and I fully embody done is better than perfect. It's how you get stuff done. But here's the thing where I don't like it with AI copy. So your copy is the century to your personal brand. Like, it's the first impression people get. If they're gonna get this like cheesy canned generic thing just like everyone else, you kind of lost them at that first impression. Like, wouldn't you want this to be a direct reflection of you and not just sound like everybody else? That's why if you're gonna toy with AI copy, take it with a grain of salt. Now, what on earth does all this have to do with my friend writing emails and actually making money in your business with, say, AI copy? Well, I don't want you to make the same mistakes that I keep seeing with my clients when they start to use AI copy. So another little quick backstory. I created a ChatGPT writing system for some of my clients to use, and I will critique some of their emails, some of their ads, that sort of thing. But here was the problem though. When I got to say looking at some of their ads, which came before their emails, I kept noticing all the same red flags. For instance, there were lines that were saying like, are you struggling to blah, 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 blah. And then only to waffle on with the sentence structure that was as long as like, say, the President's State of the Union. It was just like extremely long verbose, are you struggling, open sentences. And yeah, while the copy was correct, it did problem, it agitated the problem. It solved the problem. It was missing the one thing that makes copy super effective. It's empathy and understanding with people, and not just dumpster trucking problems on the person thinking that's empathy. Because otherwise it just sounds super transactional. So how do you avoid this? How do you avoid going super transactional, saying like everyone else? Well, it comes down to this thing that I like to call string prompts. So if you are going to use ChatGPT, are you asking it to analyze your tonality and your style? Are you using it to then go from one prompt to the next, understand what your market really hates, what it dreams about, what it loves, what keeps them up at night, all these key things that a marketer should think about. And after all of this, does it actually sound like you? Well, the issue is that most people actually haven't gone this effort because it's a pain in the butt to actually craft these string prompts that go one to the next to the next. And so what you're going to see right now is AI softwares will promise to, press a button and rain copy down from the sky with just 3 sentences. But you and I know that is not the way to do it. And why is that? So what do you think is going to happen when the majority of marketers take the quick fix and start pumping out, the 3-sentence prompts, ad, emails, whatever else? Yeah, it's all going to be boring and generic, which is why I like to think that quick and dirty prompts are a bit like eating junk food or staying up late till like 3 a.m. watching Netflix. It feels good at the time because you feel like you're making progress. In the long run, you're probably not going to be making as much money. It's probably going to be not that good for you. Long term, it's actually hurting your brand because if you sound like everyone else and you're trying to copy everyone else, how are you unique? How are you different? Why should people listen to you? So what should you do to fly stealth mode and actually still have about 70% of the copy done for you already, while injecting your personality in the process? So what I've found is that you have to kind of accept that ChatGPT is only going to do about 70% of the heavy lifting for you. And I don't mean 70% press a button and all the copy is going to come down. I mean that it's going to give you Lego blocks to build from. And by Lego blocks, I mean you might write a prompt, it'll give you some copy, you like a chunk here, you like a chunk here, and then you start building stuff. Or maybe you want to include like a spouse, a pet, or some significant person in your life so it actually sounds like you wrote it. There's real personality in it. This is how you take the tiny details and make it feel unique to you and different and personality driven. But how do you take this further and teach ChatGPT to clone you and get to that 70% mark of those building blocks? And in the process, inject that personality. Well, now you know the difference how to spot AI copy by eye, and then what you need to do to inject some personality. You absolutely need to understand how you can craft these Lego blocks so you can 10x your output when it comes to writing personality driven copy. And this video here shows you exactly how to do that.